She came back from the conference glowing in a way I hadn't seen in years. Not tired, not drained, but light, almost buoyant. Her suitcase rolled behind her, and she hugged me with an enthusiasm that felt rehearsed. I remember thinking it was nice to see her happy again. I also remember how wrong that instinct turned out to be. My name is Alistair Reed. I'm 43, live just outside Bristol, and until recently, I believed I had a stable, if quiet, marriage with my wife, Marin. Marin had left for a 4-day work conference in Manchester. Marketing summit, she said. Panels, networking, late dinners with colleagues. Nothing unusual. We'd been married 12 years, together 15. The last few years were flat. No big fights, no passion either. We coexisted politely. I cooked most nights. She worked late. We watched separate shows on the same sofa. It wasn't romantic, but it wasn't chaos. Or so I thought. When she returned, she talked more than usual. About the hotel bar, the keynote speaker, the energy of being around ambitious people. She laughed easily. She checked her phone constantly, angling the screen away without realizing it. That first night back, she kissed me before bed, slow and deliberate, then turned over and fell asleep. It felt like a gift. It also felt misplaced. 2 weeks later, everything unraveled over something small. Marin mentioned feeling off, nauseous in the mornings, headaches. She joked that conference food must have wrecked her system. I suggested a doctor. She waved it off at first, then finally booked an appointment. Routine blood work, she said, just to be safe. The call came on a Tuesday afternoon while I was fixing a loose hinge in the kitchen. I could hear her voice from the living room, light at first, then suddenly brittle. She sat very still when she hung up. Didn't look at me, just said, "They want me to come back in." I asked why. She said they'd explain later. Later came that evening. She sat across from me at the table, hands folded, eyes glossy but dry. She told me she was pregnant. The room went quiet in a way that pressed on my ears. We hadn't been intimate in over 3 months. We both knew that without saying it. I asked how far along. She said about 6 weeks. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't accuse her. I just asked one question. "Are you sure?" She nodded too quickly, started talking about miracles, about stress messing with cycles, about how sometimes timing surprises you. I listened. Then I stood up, walked to the drawer, and took out a box I hadn't thought about in years. Before our marriage, after a medical issue, I'd had tests done. Low count, near zero chance. Doctors called it improbable, not impossible, but clear enough. Marin knew this. She had always known. I placed the old report on the table. Didn't slide it. Just set it down between us. Her eyes dropped to it and stayed there. She didn't touch it. The silence stretched. Finally, she whispered my name like it was a question. I said nothing. I didn't need to. The math was already doing the work. She cried then. Quietly at first, then harder. Said it was a mistake. That it didn't mean anything. That the conference was stressful. That she'd had too much wine. That it only happened once. She said the man was a colleague from another firm. Married too. She said she'd already cut contact. She said she was relieved it was over. She said she chose me. I listened until she stopped. Then I asked who he was. She hesitated, then gave a first name. Callum. I asked if she planned to keep the baby. She said she didn't know. I nodded. I told her she could decide that without me. I told her I wouldn't interfere. I also told her I was done. She looked confused, like I'd skipped a line in a script she expected me to follow. She asked if we could talk it through. Counseling. Time apart. Anything. I told her I had already spent years talking things through in my head while she drifted away. This wasn't sudden for me. It was just finally clear. That night, I packed a bag. Same calm motions I use for business trips. Shirts folded, charger wrapped, keys in the side pocket. She followed me room to room, apologizing, bargaining, crying harder as the reality took shape. When I reached the door, she asked where I'd go. I said my brother's. She asked when I'd be back. I told her I wouldn't. I stayed with my brother for 3 weeks. During that time, Marin sent messages ranging from remorseful to furious. She blamed loneliness. She blamed routine. She blamed me for being distant. I didn't respond. Eventually, she sent the test results. She said she wanted me to see them. Proof, maybe, that she was being honest now. The dates lined up exactly with the conference. Seeing it in black and white didn't hurt the way I expected. It clarified, like finally putting a name to a noise you've been ignoring. I forwarded the results to my solicitor the same day, filed for divorce the following week. People asked if I was angry. I wasn't. I felt finished. The marriage hadn't ended with the affair. It had ended long before, in small moments of indifference we both pretended not to notice. The test results didn't destroy my life. They simply erased the last excuse I had for staying in it. Last I heard, she moved closer to Manchester. I didn't ask why. Some doors close quietly. You don't slam them. You just stop holding them open. I am rebuilding slowly, deliberately, without bitterness, learning that peace comes not from answers, but from choosing yourself when the truth finally removes every remaining doubt, accepting silence as closure instead of chasing explanations.